Hi, I'm Ryan Craig, and this is Bob Craig, and we're One Day West Games, and this is Monster Highway.
The general premise of the game is to build roads from ground zero to your home base with road tiles, and then drive your car along that road to be the first to get to home base to win. But all along the way, avoid being smashed by
The monster.
the monster.
When setting up the game, each player is dealt 5 road tiles and 1 monster buster tile. Then divide the remaining tiles into 2 equal draw piles and place on either side of the board. Monster cards are placed off the board, and players do not start with any of these cards. Place the monster next to the monster card deck until monster is then rolled on the die.
Each player picks a corner of the board and then chooses a home base and car of that corresponding color. The ground zero tile is then placed on the center of the board, and then all the players' cars are placed on that tile to start.
The player who most recently watched a monster movie goes first.
So on your turn, you're going to take your 2 specialty die and roll them. The results of them could either come up with a road, a car, or a monster. If road comes up, you're going to play one of your road tiles going from ground zero to your home base. So I'm going to go ahead and play a road tile. If car comes up, you roll the number die on the board, and that's how many spaces your car can move along that road that you have built. If monster comes up, you draw from the monster card deck. It tells you to go to E5, so the monster then goes to that grid number. That card is then placed in the discard pile. Now, if there were a car on that grid space, it would be smashed and returned back to ground zero.
If the monster lands on the end of a roadway, the road tile is destroyed and placed in the discard pile.
But if the monster lands in the middle of a roadway, the road tile is not destroyed and the cars cannot move through the monster.
If you roll road on a specialty die, you can place 2 road tiles from your hand. If you were to roll car, you can move your car as far as you want on an existing road. And if you were to roll monster, you can place the monster anywhere you want on the board without drawing a monster card.
However, the monster is not allowed to move onto the ground zero tile or any of the 4 home base tiles.
At the end of your turn, draw back up to 6 road tiles.
So now we're going to talk about some of the specialty road tiles that you can have in your hand. Now any of these tiles you're only going to be able to play if you roll a road on the die. So the first one we're going to talk about is the swap tile. Swap tile is great for defense or offensive maneuvers in the game. So basically the premise is you can switch any 2 roads on the board as long as they make sense and don't create any kind of dead ends on the board. So just to show you a quick example, in a swap tile, a car, if it's on the road, goes along with that tile as well. So I'm going to go ahead and take the blue car on this curve here and swap it out with this curve down here. So the car goes along with it, and then I could take the tile and then place that back. And that would be the end of that one. And this goes into the discard pile then.
Another specialty tile that you can play when rolling a road is the radioactive roadway tile. You can play that on the end of any roadway, and it will destroy that tile. You then take both, and you would place them into the discard pile.
You could play a road close tile at the end of a roadway, and that basically caps off that road, forcing somebody not to be able to move their car through that.
The reroll is a very powerful tile. It can be used to play on yourself to get better results.
Or you could play it on an opponent to hopefully give them a worse result than they currently have. It's then placed in the discard pile.
The monster buster tile can be played at any point to stop the monster from making a movement that you do not like.
Then he goes back to his original position. Goes to the discard pile.
The very last road tile you can play is your home base tile. When placing that, it locks in your road.
That home base tile can't be swapped. It cannot be destroyed by a radioactive roadway tile. and it cannot be destroyed by placing a monster on it.
The last thing to do is move your car into home base by rolling car or car. If you roll car, you would roll the dice, move your car, and you don't have to roll the exact number.
But watch out for those reroll tiles.
So there's a lot more strategy to explore. If you'd like to download our complete rule set, you can find it at onedaywestgames.com.
Or you could send us an email at onedaywestgames@gmail.com. Or you could also contact us through any of our social media platforms on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram at onedaywestgames.
So that's how you play the game. We hope you enjoy it.
And thanks for watching.